It is a blessing to have these in our lives. Now, the purpose of this list is not to get you to settle for less than what God has for you. No. The purpose of this list is to allow you and help you to be grateful for what you currently have, but yet still have a hunger to release the potential that God has placed and put within you. It's just to give you perspective right now over your situation. Because what a crisis tends to do at times is, a crisis tends to make you believe that you're the only one that's busy going through something tough. And it isolates you. Meanwhile, everybody going through some stuff. All right? What's the difference between one individual who advances in the midst of adversity and the other one who stays behind? The difference is perspective, because you can choose. God says, this day I put before you life and death, blessing and curses. Therefore, choose life. That's your choice. You can choose to respond to the grace that God has over your life, or you can choose to blame Him for everything that He's not done in your life. And here's the thought. I think we as individuals, we are so quick when stuff goes wrong. We are so quick to blame God for absolutely everything, when we forget that the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And Jesus came to give us life and a life of abundance. And with that being said, here's the thought. If everything always worked out the way you wanted it to work out, you wouldn't be half the person you are today. Because if you can understand what the purpose of a struggle actually is, remember, whenever you do not know the purpose of something, you are bound to abuse it or not use it at all. But if you understand the purpose of a struggle, the purpose of a challenge, the purpose of a struggle and a challenge is not to destroy your life. The purpose of a challenge and a struggle is to cause you to grow as an individual. And when you grow as an individual, you've got now more to give. And the more you give, the more of a fulfilled life you ultimately live. Because giving is addictive. You become addicted to it once you actually taste how powerful it is and the goodness that God actually placed and put within giving. Because like Jesus said, it is more blessed to give than it is to receive. And now when I say giving, I'm not just talking in the area of finances. I'm talking about giving time, talent, treasure. Just giving of yourself to the world. Serving yourself to the world. It is addictive. It's addictive. Like, for example, we would sometimes, you guys know, sometimes we go a bit over time because it's in places like this. Like, I lose track of the time because it's like time completely moves out the way because I'm addicted to this. Because I get a kick out of actually doing this, like a bird that gets a kick out of flying, or a fish that gets a kick out of swimming. When you're doing what you've been called to do, it's addictive. It's not like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to talk to you. No, you don't see once Jesus wake up in the morning and be like, oh, but I've got to go talk to these people again. No, he's going because the mission, the purpose is bigger than the current circumstance, regardless of what's busy happening around him. For me, it's fascinating. If you go read the scriptures, it's fascinating. His cousin, John, whom he baptized, all right? A couple of moments later, what happens? How did John die? They chopped his head off. Jesus hears that they chopped his cousin's head off, but yet the people are still pulling on him to give me more of you, Jesus. But Jesus just heard some terrible news that his cousin, the one whom he loves, his head got chopped off. It wasn't even like a bullet. No, it was like a disgraceful death. And John's head was served on a platter. He hears this about his cousin. He could have gone into maybe like a year sabbatical. Like, I need to overcome this. It means take a year off. No, but the Father healed his heart. And in the midst of that, look what's happening. He's advancing. What an example to see. What an example to look at. What an example to be inspired by at the end of the day. What a powerful, powerful example of what it looks like, that in the midst of your own stuff, one of the keys to overcoming is to continue to reach out your hand and be a blessing to those beside you. Because it's something about giving that God has put in the function of giving, that God knows that function needs to be in society. Do you realize that God doesn't have and I'm paraphrasing, but He doesn't have a need to receive, but people have a need to give. It's a human need to give. All right? Because that's the way we've been created. We carry the very image of the one who made us, who is God. And God Himself is the biggest giver of them all. So we have a need as human beings to give and to release what He's put inside of us moving forward. If you know where your next meal will come from, you are a wealthy person. Take it a step further. If you're not even worried about where the next meal will come from, you are a wealthy person. If you can choose between McDonald's or Wimpy today, you are a wealthy person. All right? Because some people don't know where the next meal will come from. There was a stage in my life personally where I didn't know where the next meal was come from. I chose to be homeless. Dumb decision. Didn't know where the next meal was going to come from. But now, today, I have a wife who can do all these amazing things. Blessed individual. Very blessed. Sometimes you end up taking it for granted, and then you need something like this to bring some perspective back into your life and be like, wow, I might not be where I want to be, but praise God, I'm not where I used to be. And this helps you because gratitude is oxygen for the soul.